Good evening. Welcome to the first episode of the Wrestling Report. My name's Stephen Fairbairn and I'm here with Mr. Wayne Madden and Mr. Ryan Ace.
Hello. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for coming in, man.
Absolutely.
Right, so just to crack on, this is a new wrestling show that we're just starting with. We've been very, very blessed to have a wonderful man like Mr. Wayne Madden and
Even more blessed.
Exactly.
Yes.
To have an actual wrestler who wants to come in and
Indeed.
talk to us, you know what I mean, which is
Too kind,
fantastic.
Royce, too kind.
So, in terms of where we're going to go with this, guys, if you don't mind, I just want to stick to a few points and then, Ryan, I want to come to you and a few stories and whatnot, so you have to indulge me. Before we get started, I've been asked by a friend of mine just to give a little shout out to two little boys, his sons, Alex and Dylan Gray, who are 7 and 9 years old. Number one WWE fans in the world. This is a message from your dad. He says he loves you very much.
Amazing.
There we go.
That's amazing. What a shout out. Good guy.
He asked me to do it and I was like, how can I not?
Great
You
guys.
know what
Lovely.
I mean?
Yeah.
So just to get started, if you don't mind, guys, I just want to introduce Wayne first, and Ryan, I'll come to you in a sec. Just bear with me. Wayne and I have done work over many years now. He would say probably too long.
Yes, indeed. Long
Oh,
suffering.
should I just get up and leave and you do this?
No.
But in terms of that, we've worked on projects together in wrestling and in other formats we've done. And I used to do a radio show with Wayne occasionally for Nova Radio, which was called the Spanish Announce Table. Sadly, no longer something that either of us do. Hence why we're sitting here. We also do a gaming podcast which is available on Spotify called Plug In and Play. Check it out. It's amazing. And we've done a lot of work on other things together as well, and we're here now. Now, Ryan is a top-notch wrestler. Anybody who's seen his matches will know that. He singles and tags. We've discussed many stories before that. We're going to discuss them again. He has worked for Full Tilt Wrestling. He has worked for Rapid Action, and most recently you said Rise Underground, is that right?
Underground, yeah.
Rise Underground, and that is a story we're going to go over soon. I can't wait, I'm not going to lie. So just to get started, if you don't mind, guys, I just want to ask you a couple of nerdy questions.
Go for it.
I want to start with you, Wayne, if that's all right.
Sure.
Favourite wrestler and your favourite match?
Oh.
And are they linked?
Oh God. I always give a different answer. I suppose I should probably say what I should probably say is my favorite wrestler is Ryan Ace, obviously. You know, yeah.
Of course.
I always give different answers, but it's really tough. But I'm gonna go with Huskus here. I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. May he rest in peace. I'm gonna go with Bray because at the time that The Fiend came out, that whole thing, I actually wrote an article for it that was in a wrestling magazine at one point. That whole persona drew me back into wrestling. That Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers character.
I think a lot of people
It did a big thing for me. So yeah, I mean, there are other wrestlers like Chris Benoit, of course, and yes, there have been other things, but yes, as a technical wrestler professionally, I know I probably shouldn't have. Hulk Hogan, other people throughout the years. Believe it or not, when I was about 15, 16, I'll tell you who I was a major fan of. I was a big fan of Jerry Lynn. Big fan of Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
I was also
High flyer.
Yeah, I was also a big Jericho-holic. You might not believe that. I was genuinely a huge Jericho-holic.
Well, there's something we have in common, because I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
For years and years and years, I was a massive Jericho fan.
Oh, yeah.
I nerd out. You're saying everybody was, weren't they?
Absolutely. Who
I've
didn't
never
want to be
seen
Chris Jericho, you know what I mean?
This is it. And you've never known a wrestler reinvent himself
Well,
as many times. I mean,
Yes.
there's rumours, just quickly segue into something, there's a rumour he's on his way back to WWE.
I saw that,
Yeah.
I hope he does. I cannot wait, because he's going to want that sweet Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? And all of those things, and everything that goes with it. But no, I mean, I love that. So off the back of Bray Wyatt, then, where does that lead you in terms of where would you go with favourite match, or would that include Bray,
Favorite match of all time? Probably wouldn't include Bray. I did think about this a lot. I come back to a specific match in which none of the wrestlers I've mentioned are even included in this, but it's King of the Ring 2001, Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon.
Oh God!
All right, okay.
Now for me, I was and it's funny because people say, who's your favorite wrestler? I never think of Shane McMahon, but to give him his credit, I was a huge Shane McMahon fan. But I never saw him as a wrestler per se.
He was a weird one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was an anomaly. He
Yeah.
really was an
Yeah,
anomaly,
yeah,
because he
yeah,
was
yeah.
the boss's son, and his ability to be able to get out there was a bit of a nepo thing anyway.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It
It absolutely was.
He wouldn't have got to that position, wasn't Shane McMahon.
Exactly.
Because in-ring wise wasn't the best, but he was
No.
willing to take all these crazy bumps and do these crazy things,
Yeah.
which definitely helped his stock. And obviously, you know,
That
matches
match.
like that.
God
So,
almighty, I actually killed him, didn't
case
it?
in point, Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon, and literally taking him and suplexing him through the glass.
It was
And
horrific.
yeah.
Have you watched it recently?
I have actually about 6 months ago.
Really?
I sat down and watched,
I watched
it again. Yeah.
Maybe not as recently, but I watched it through gritted teeth, exactly the same as I was. It was.
I'll tell you what surprised me about that particular match when I watched it, and it must have been about 10 years since the last time I'd watched it. I was surprised from visual inspection of how long it was.
Yeah.
Because it goes on a long time
That
before they get
segment
out
as
of the
well.
ring,
Oh,
and
God.
then they have to come back to the ring to finish it.
Because they've obviously got their spots
Yes.
planned, you know what
Yes.
I mean? And I mean, who are we talking to here? We know how to plan spots, you know what I mean? But in terms of, they've obviously got where they need to be at certain points,
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
threw everything off. It threw
Yes.
everything off, because let's face
Yes.
it, Shane suffered multiple concussions.
Oh, God,
from
He
that,
did.
you know,
Yeah,
Backed up after
yeah.
that match.
It was unreal, wasn't it?
I
It was
honestly-
unreal. I mean, and the fact that it all started because of somebody ordering the wrong prop.
Yeah.
You know, the glass.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
the
it's
wrong
crazy,
thing, wasn't
isn't
it?
it?
You know what I mean? It could have been killed. It was
Yeah.
insane.
No, it's but amazing match. So yeah, definitely
That's a
stands
great
in my
one.
mind.
Well,
Yes.
after just one last thing before we move to you, Ryan. So just a quick one. Can you remember your first live show that you attended?
I can remember my first live show, and this is a really weird one because I say to people, it was not an independent show. Apologies. It was not a WWE show or a WCW or even an ECW show, which doesn't leave many options. It was the short-lived promotion. It was Jeff Jarrett, I think, was responsible for it partially. It was called World Wrestling All-Stars. It was actually funded out of Australia. They didn't tour the US as far as I'm aware, but they did come to Europe twice. And it was in 2001 in Dublin in Ireland. But to give you a sense of the caliber of this show, Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett were the main event. Brian Christopher was on the bill, so I was very privileged to have seen Brian Christopher wrestle. The Cat was there, I remember very well, because she'd recently been fired.
As in Stacey Carter?
As in Jerry Lawler's
Oh,
ex-wife.
right.
Yeah,
Wow,
the Cat,
right,
Miss
right.
Kitty.
Yes, Miss
Yeah,
Kitty.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
My God, yeah.
I've been watching old SmackDowns from 1999, and I just hear Jerry Lawler's voice, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty," and that's all. And I've just been watching them last couple of nights, and I'm like, but nobody knew he was married to her, and that was
Nope.
so wrong. And he's like, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty," and I'm like,
And there was a massive
There was a big
age
age. Anyway,
difference,
but yes.
wasn't there? Yeah.
And like Disco Inferno and Crowbar was there, one of the few people to ever wrestle in TNA, Ring of Honor, WCW, ECW, and WWF. Crowbar is one of the few people to have ever done that.
And he follows me on Twitter.
There you go. And there was a couple of other people. Test, I believe, was there, and Nathan Jones.
As in the Australian guy, Nathan
And I
Jones,
remember
yeah.
Nathan Jones specifically because he was WWA's European champion.
Right.
And he used to be announced as billed from wherever he was wrestling from. So, of course, that night they were like, Nathan Jones from Dublin, Ireland. And the one thing I do 100% remember more than anything, well, I remember Road Dogg coming out and going, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, not the WWF, the WWA." But I also remember at the very start, the commissioner of the WWA
They always had like that kind of role.
Yeah.
didn't they?
was
yeah.
Bret Hart himself.
Oh, wow.
And so me, at about 15,
Oh,
I brought
God.
a sign that said something along the lines of, like, Vince screwed Bret. And I remember he saw it and was like, you know, yeah.
yeah, I love Bret Hart.
But it was an amazing show. And as I say, a very short-lived promotion. I don't even think there's much footage of it exists pro show.
Do you know that's something we should look up for a
Yeah.
future episode?
World
I
Wrestling
wouldn't mind- I
All-Stars.
wouldn't mind doing
Yeah.
a little bit
There's
on
lots
that.
of promotions like that, though, wasn't there? Like the WXO and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's
that
right,
popped
because
up, like-
they got an MTV thing for a
They
while,
did,
didn't
yeah,
they?
Yeah, and then something happened or whatever, and then that didn't get the funding or what. I don't know what the exact ins and outs of it, but is that the one that had? I'm sure I had might have had John Yates on it.
And I think it was
I think
Sean
that rings a
Waltman
bell.
had a big contract with them as well,
Yeah, I think
because
he did as well.
so a good friend of mine, Neil McGeever, used to do the Spanish announce table
Right.
with me as well. I remember he lent me a DVD, which I had to give back to him because of how much it's now worth.
Oh, God.
But he had an original MTV WXO DVD. But again, like that, you're right. Like some of this stuff it's not even on YouTube. You
won't
can't
know.
find it.
That's it, unless he got the
Yeah.
DVD at the time. Then
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah.
Lost
So,
footage, isn't it? It's crazy
Yeah.
that there's, as you say, so many like smaller promotions where it just disappeared off the face of the
That's
earth.
it.
yes.
Right, moving on. I'm going to ask you same question. So,
Okay.
favorite wrestler and match
So my favorite
that doesn't
wrestler-
involve yourself.
Oh, man. Oh,
Drats!
That's my answer gone then. So my favorite wrestler always bounces between The Undertaker and AJ Styles.
Nice.
Good call
So-
either way.
Nice.
Growing up, like, me and my dad used to flick between WWE and TNA
Right.
back in like 2005, 2006 when I first get into wrestling. Because my dad had a massive influence of me getting into wrestling. So
So was your father a big fan?
I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like when I used to watch NWA back in the day. You
Wow,
know,
right.
WCW, WWF, you know, all that.
Wow.
Never watched ECW, but he used to follow like the main
Right.
two. So my dad was a massive wrestling
That's
fan.
wonderful.
I
love
remember
that.
my first ever wrestling game I ever got was on the PlayStation 1, SmackDown 2, Know Your Role.
Nice.
And
Love that game.
I remember that was the game that got me into wrestling. I'd played the game before I even watched wrestling.
Oh.
Right.
Bit of sidetrack here, and I'll get back to
No,
it.
by all means.
But I remember very vividly because you could play as like any wrestler on the roster,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
managers, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Everything was there.
So
yeah,
I wasn't familiar with the guys, you know. So so I'd pick I don't know whoever I was going to take or whatever, and I'd face Paul Bearer as the manager.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I was like 3 or 4, I'd always lose. So then I go, oh, Dad, I can't beat this guy, Paul Bearer. So in my head, Paul Bearer was the greatest wrestler who ever lived because I couldn't beat him.
Because you couldn't beat him.
And then my dad played as The Rock, my dad beat Paul Bearer as The Rock. I thought, oh my god, The Rock's amazing. But then watching wrestling myself, like AJ Styles was my favourites growing up, like just in-ring work, like second to none.
Still doing it.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely.
Still, did you see him on AAA the other night?
I did,
It was
I did.
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Saw him on TNA as well when
Did
he
you see it?
Can I mean I did not see it, but can I just tell you how old I feel now when he says he was 3 and 4
Oh,
playing
God, I
SmackDown
know.
2 on the PlayStation
You
1?
feel old. I'm older than both of you. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here thinking I need to be drawing my pension. He's sitting there going, I'm old enough to be your dad. You know what I mean? God Almighty.
But no, great, two great performances,
That's it.
phenomenal.
Undertaker
Yeah.
character-wise, like I'm a big
Oh,
character
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
him, that just drew me in. The way he would cut his promos and the way he would talk, and that leads into my favorite match: Undertaker versus Michaels from WrestleMania 25.
Phenomenal.
Like, honestly, like,
I think you guys are gonna get along very well.
It is my favourite match.
It's
it
a
was
phenomenal.
the
Oh,
first
yeah.
ever WrestleMania DVD that me and my dad watched together.
Really?
And I watched it and
Amazing.
loved the Undertaker, loved Shawn Michaels, and the way they put that match together. And
Yeah,
the execution
perfect.
of it all.
Storytelling was
was
flawless.
amazing, absolutely. Especially when you listen to like the interviews about it afterwards, and like Michaels was saying that the moonsault spot, he tried over and over and they couldn't get it, and then on the
Yeah.
day when they did it on the
Perfect.
day and they got it spot on, I thought that makes it just that extra
Yeah,
bit.
the
like,
fact that they couldn't get it
Yeah.
right and then
Yeah,
did it on
yeah.
the night kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know. I
love
mean,
it.
obviously the only low point of that match is the dive.
That's
the,
it, with Sim Snooker and
well,
stuff.
that's it, Sim
Yeah,
Snooker,
yeah.
exactly, yeah. But no, that match, I've probably watched that match, I wouldn't even like to guess how many times. But you know, I always count that match, and sorry, just to go off on a little bit here, I always count that match as the match I would show to someone if they wanted to get into wrestling.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
absolutely.
That's the
yeah,
match.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's damn near perfect.
That's it.
It's,
It
I wouldn't
is,
say
yeah.
there is such a thing as a perfect match because, you know, as a wrestler, you know yourself, there's always ways you want to improve, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this is it, and you know.
There's allegedly a dark match where Kurt Angle and Owen Hart fought together.
Oh, wow, really?
There's no footage of it, but Kurt Angle has spoken about having a dark match with Owen Hart.
I never had.
So I'll just put that out there, folks. But I get your point.
Oh,
though.
I
yeah.
didn't even know that existed. There you go. It's, I mean,
It'd be a
me and my
phenomenal
weird.
match, that.
Yeah,
A phenomenal
yeah.
match, that.
I would love to have seen that. My weird wrestling brain, and there's not much without blowing my own horn that I don't know because I tend to absorb it and hold it. But that is something I did not
Yeah.
know. That is incredible.
So I think recently Kurt Angle was giving an interview in which he was talking about having competed with Owen Hart, and the interviewer was like, "But of course you didn't, televise
Yeah,
until
yeah.
after he passed away." And Kurt was like, "Well, I was doing dark matches for a long time with the WWF as it was
Well,
at
I
the
was
time."
in there trying to get him in the
And
door.
he's at
yeah,
my
yeah.
my third ever match was with Owen Hart. Was a dark match in front of
I
an
didn't even know
audience. You will see people have been calling this for years. It's in a vault somewhere. They won't give it to us,
That's
but it's
crazy,
there.
that is,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Absolutely
That could be
crazy.
tied up with the fact of the legal
Yes,
wrangling.
yes,
with
of
Owen,
course,
you know, with
yeah,
Arthur
yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah, of
That's
course.
unfortunately
Yeah.
a lot of Owen's legacy is tied up in
That's
legal
true.
holdings.
Yeah,
And it's,
yeah,
you know, I mean, the man had, what was he, 34, I think, when he passed. And a lot of his matches, this is one of the reasons Brett obviously has fought to get the footage out there. And I know a lot of it is still tied up in huge legal wranglings, and I think
Yes.
it might be tied up forever. I don't know if that happened when she won the case and,
Mm.
you know, this and the other. But no, I mean, your favourite match. You've answered my question for me in the sense of the way how I would answer it, because honest to God, that is my favourite match. My missus is absolutely fed up the back teeth of seeing that, because I put it on all the time. But no, that's fantastic. Off the back of that, now your answer here might be very different to the answers Wayne and I would give, because obviously you are a wrestler. So in terms of your first live show, I want to ask you a slightly different variation of it. First live show you attended as a fan, and first live show as a wrestler.
Ooh, right, okay. So, as a fan, it was, funny enough, the year after, it was the WrestleMania 26 Revenge Tour at the Newcastle Arena.
Amazing.
So, I remember they did a WrestleMania rematch, Legacy Triple Threat, with Teddy DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton.
Oh, phenomenal.
I remember that match. I don't remember much else on the show, apart from, it was an Evan Bourne match. I can't remember who he was facing. I don't know why I remember it. But he was, he was late coming out, so his music was playing for a while. They announced him like 3 times. He ran to the ring, was facing somebody. They did a spot where they dropped down, the leap over. They were doing that a few times, and the guy just stopped in the ring, looked at Evan Bourne, and just jumped himself, which I thought was quite funny, being, how old was I? Don't know, 9?
Right, so
9,
you was
10.
a child, right?
So I thought, that's wicked. And then, of course, the Legacy Triple Threat, I loved Randy Orton, so I thought, he's a nasty man at the time. I loved him, so I was absolutely in my element with that. But yeah, the rest of me, my dad, my brother.
That's wonderful.
WrestleMania 26 Revenge Tour at the Arena.
Isn't it amazing? Another little fact for you. When you think about the fact that Randy Orton has been an active member of the WWE roster for 23 years now.
It's crazy.
He is
uninterrupted.
He is the GOAT. Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's had time off for injuries. And
sure, but yeah.
But in terms of continuous work, there's not many people can claim that.
Oh no, I mean another 5 or 6 years, if he were to give it, it would rival the Undertaker.
Well,
like
look at him
that,
now. He looks capable.
Yeah,
he is huge. He's
close to 300 pounds in now.
This guy is. Well, did you see that at one of his favourite entrances of all time? I think it was the old ring announcer. I forget her name.
Lillian Garcia.
No, not her. The one that left recently. Ricochet's girlfriend. Samantha Irvin. Thank you. I couldn't remember her name. She announces him at like 270, and he's like, no. I've been eating. He's in the aisle going, I've been eating, patting his gut, and I was like, that is fantastic.
He's huge now.
He is so big.
It was the first independent, or the first show I was.
First show that you, your first as an active wrestler.
Okay.
That you can remember at least.
So technically, I've been on a lot of like academy shows, so like friends and family for like the I trained by Full Tilt Wrestling Academy.
Right, so to a paying audience then, in that case.
Okay, for paying audience. We'll go. It was. Actually, I do remember. It was MPW, Maximum Pro Wrestling, for promoter Mark Anthony.
Right.
Ran a show in Pegswood, in Morpeth. It's Pegswood Social Club. I got there on the day, didn't know if I had a match or not.
Right.
First of a match, and he goes, "Oh, can you ring announce?" So yeah, of course I'll ring announce, whatever. And they put the card together. First match was a title match, so I announced the title match. It was a guy called Steve the Pirate versus a fellow called Ragnar.
Right. For
the MPW 3 Rivers title. So I announced the match, whatever. Ragnar then came out, grabbed the microphone off me and went, "Well, you're sacked as a ring announcer, I'm doing the ring announcer for the rest of the night, go away." And I was like, alright, okay, so I went off. And then promoter pulled me aside and goes, "Would you like a match?" And this is while the show was going.
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Would you like a match?" I went, "Oh, yeah, I would, absolutely, love a match, been training a year and a half now, no official match." Like, where do you go? It goes, "Oh, this guy called Highland Fury in the back." And it was part of a storyline. Him, Highland Fury, a wrestler called War Mick, and a wrestler called Nicholas Gray were all in a tag team together, and they were breaking up that night.
Oh, wow.
And the catalyst of the breakup was going to be they were going to cost Highland the match, and I was going to get the win.
Right.
Wow.
So he goes, "Would you do this match, 2-minute match with Highland Fury?" I thought, absolutely,
and
why
you're going
not?
over as well.
I was going to go over my first match. I thought, wicked, I'm 18 years old, I'm loving this, going, let's do it. Go backstage, get changed, shook his hand. Everyone told me you had a reputation of being a bit stiff. So I was like, first ever match, I'm going to get beaten up, but he's perfectly safe with me, no complaints from me at all.
Perfect.
So he threw me about a bit for the plate. Threw me about for a good 5 minutes and goes, "Right, okay, the finish was he's going to go for a spear. His teammates are going to come out, distract him, and I was going to roll him up."
Wow.
But the teammates didn't know. Nobody told them to come out.
Oh, no.
So I'm there waiting for them to come out. He's there waiting for them to come out. I'm going, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to take the spear," and I'm clenching myself to take the spear. he runs, pushes my shoulder, runs past me, hits the rope, and just goes, roll me up, sort of roll him up, get the quick...
Also, he still went for the
I still
proper
went over,
finish.
yeah,
Wow,
but
right,
he
right.
changed it, like, rolled it up and ran back. I was like, oh my god, like, what happened? Got backstage, went, I didn't know what happened. I was like, was that me? He goes, no, they didn't come out, don't worry about it, mate. And I was like, probably nervous about that, like, honestly,
So did
really
you think you were like done before you started?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing?
I thought, oh god, because I didn't know what happened, you know, all I knew was that he just pushed past me when it was meant to be a, you know,
Right,
distraction spot,
right.
so I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was very green first ever match. Rolled him up, was like, okay, phew, thought, like, I don't know what to do. Went to promote afterwards, went, was that okay? He goes, yeah, mate, that was fine. We'll put you on a proper match next show. So I thought, thank God for that, you know, and that was, I emptied up Pegswood, it was May of 2018.
Wow.
Remember that? God, it seems so long ago.
Did
now,
you go home that night and just like full of energy though?
I
You
did.
were
The
just-
adrenaline was wicked. I was so happy for the playing crowd. I was going, come on.
But you
Love
see,
it. Love it.
this'll tell you, because the first time I ever saw Ryan Ace, you know, in a match, the first time I ever saw you, I remember turning to someone on that night and saying, that guy is the next Jeff Hardy.
Oh, mate.
Like it struck me that he would, that like this, you know, this guy is prepared to go. And then you were saying to me, you know, well, I was 18 and I'd not been long wrestling.
Yeah.
But to me, you already looked like a seasoned pro.
Oh, thank
Of
you,
course, you were well trained by the academy,
Of
but
course.
you definitely came across as someone who'd been doing it a lot longer, for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that, mate. I
it.
appreciate that, because deep inside I was absolutely cacking myself, you know?
See, the thing is though, that shows you, because you know, I know it's not the same thing, but if you indulge me a second,
Yeah.
anybody who knows me, I am the worst overthinker in the world, and before we do every single show that I've ever done, I sit there with, and Wade knows this because that's why he's laughing. Everything we've ever done, I'll sit there going, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to suck. This is going to suck. And then I go home and go, it was terrible, wasn't it? And then I'll go, him, how was it? Or on the phone. Now, what I tend to do now is when we get off recording, I'll ring him straight and go, is that all right? And he's like, it's fine every
Yeah.
single time, and
Yeah.
it's a case of, I get the feeling you're almost going, for God's sake, Steve, it's fine, it's always
I
fine.
think it's more likely that I'll find a fault within my own performance than yours. I know I can depend on you. It's me I'm worried about. So he's fine. Yeah.
I like the
I
sound
know what
of
you
that.
mean on that, though. I was thinking, like, I had a match as time of recording Sunday just gone down in York against fellow Matty Mayhem.
Right?
And in 8 years of wrestling, me and him never went on one-on-one.
Oh,
Wow.
We've done tag matches, multi-man battle royals, never went one-on-one. So I thought, and you know, we're good mates, me and Matty Mayhem.
Yeah.
So like kayfabe.
it's already gone, don't worry,
me and
they
Matty are
know.
good friends.
Kayfabe is dead.
So I was like, I put a lot of pressure on the match
Right.
for myself because I thought, is this going to be
Yeah.
I had, like, everyone
Was it more
knows-
pressure because he was a friend?
Not necessarily. More pressure of like, we had put this hype on this match as me and him, like, this is going to be a great match because we're both good workers. I'm thinking, oh my god, Warren's a bit shit. Right? And I'm like, I told him that he drove me down. I was like, I'm really nervous about this. He goes, why? It's like, we're mates, and you know, you've done it for 8 years now. It's like, why are you nervous? Like, I just feel like it just needs to be a good match. Just really needs. And I'm probably like yourself. I'm overthinking it, stressing. And the match was fantastic. You know.
Well, there you go. So
yeah,
you did.
absolutely
You
fine.
absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, it was
well.
great. Terry, you Mike Mayhem, big shout out. You're a fantastic worker. You know, probably
Yeah.
carry job in that one, but. No, it was a fantastic match. Afterwards, he was like, okay, sigh of relief. But now I'm exactly the same. Like, I'm overthinking
I love that.
everything. Yeah.
I love that. We'll have to get Terry on here if he wants to sometime. I'd love that. I've met Terry. I've met you before we went there. I've met Terry a few times. Did a little bit of interview work. Had arguably the stupidest bump of my entire life where I bust my shoulder, all from an interview that went wrong, but it was meant to go wrong. The worst interview ever. I was green as grass.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any questions prepared, and honestly, I was so grateful he was even willing to speak to me because it was so. I couldn't believe he was actually willing. We got in the show and he gave us shirts and everything. He was great. He was absolutely great. So no, we should. I'll if you want to, in the future.
Challenge has been issued.
Challenge
I think.
accepted. Challenge
Yeah.
issued, accepted. Come on, but no, I'd love
They're
that.
writing the message as you're speaking.
Come on,
Yeah,
we'll have round 2 of that interview and you can give me a proper hit. Not really. I'm way older. But no. Honestly, I totally get that with him. He was great. I love watching him work. I mean, he was on that. that show that briefly televised as well, wasn't he? The
5 Star.
is that the one? Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was on that, and I loved watching that. I loved the. Do you know what? I got a real buzz out of the fact that he was on that, and I was like, I knew him. I didn't know. I wouldn't say we were friends, God and far, but he probably doesn't remember who I am, which was a long time ago, and we different time. But I was like, I really marked out for the fact that I was like, I know I met him. Yeah, I was like, yeah. But no, honestly, please reach out if he's more than welcome. Honestly, any wrestler, any wrestling personality, not just wrestler, wants to come on here, I'll have everybody and anybody on here because I'm a sponge for this stuff. I love it.
Tim Strange, we've spoken.
We
know that,
have.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
But no, honestly, this is a 40-year addiction for me. This.
Yeah.
I've been addicted to this sport longer than you've been around, and that sobers me in a way. I'm not even drunk, but it sobers me in a way I can't believe. I don't think I'd ever get drunk again after I'm that sober right now. But no, honestly, when we were talking before we went to air, I was like, how old are you? And I was 26. I was like, oh my God, But no, it is. It's I love this. You know what I mean? This is something Wayne will tell you. I've always been a big nerd for this. I love this, and again, just a little segue here. I can't thank you both enough for coming on. I really do.
Absolutely,
I really do appreciate
absolutely.
that. But we're not finished yet. We've got plenty more to talk about. If you wouldn't mind, we just like to move on. I want to discuss. I've just got a few bullet points, just a few subjects I'd like to discuss with you both. If you want, some of them may touch a few nerves with certain viewers. If you do, I apologise in advance, but I feel it needs to be spoken about. So get over it. Subscribe.
Welcome to the world of wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Full of
obviously,
controversy.
in the last few weeks, we lost one of the all-time greats. We lost the great Hulk Hogan. Now, obviously, this is a man who was very polarizing to a lot of people. To me, he is the reason I watch wrestling. He is the reason we are sitting here now, I think, personally. Wrestling has always existed before him, and it will exist long after he has gone. It'll continue to exist now that he's passed. I firmly believe that wrestling as it is today, there's two people directly responsible for that in its current form, and that's Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Both massive figures of controversy in a lot of circles and a lot of people, but at the same time, you can't deny their contributions to the wrestling world. How do you personally both feel about the passing of Hulk Hogan? Whoever wants to take this one, by all means.
I'm not going to be the guy to say, oh, you couldn't wrestle or whatever. I was never a big Hulk Hogan fan myself.
Sure.
But
I think it's a generational thing.
I think so, because when I grew up and started watching wrestling, it was all like what's called the classic OVW 2002, Randy Orton, Lesnar, Cena. So that was my generation growing up.
The that generation where the prototype, which was obviously John Cena and whatnot, I get that. I totally get that.
When I first started, it was basic thugonomics, John Cena and,
the best John Cena.
Burning My Light Randy Orton, Evolution, all that stuff when I first started watching wrestling. So I never got into it with the,
You didn't see Hogan at his peak.
Stuff. Yeah. So I never saw Hogan, so I was never a big fan because, watching TNA as well, I was a big fan of the X Division and Abyss.
Oh, like Amazing Red and all of that.
Yeah, of course. Joe Amazing Red, the Machine Guns. I absolutely love.
I still love the Motor City Machine Guns now.
Love the fact of finding on WWE.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
I'm so pleased you said that. Yeah.
So I was never a big Hogan. I appreciate his contribution to the business, of course. And
well, that's the point I was making.
I appreciate how the business definitely wouldn't be where
it's
it is
undeniable.
without him.
Yeah.
And he's of course said some things that brought a bit of controversy to his name and stained a bit of his legacy. Of course, it's sad that he's died. It's sad when anyone dies. But yeah, I'm not. A lot of my mates in the business are a bit more upset about it than I am.
I get that. Are they older than you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's a generational
that's
thing.
That's it. But I appreciate his contributions to business, but I'm not personally that.
I understand it, but the thing is as well, it's hard to get upset when someone passes if you don't have a personal connection to them, whether you know them or not. Now, this actually leads into yourself here, because I'm not going to lie to you, when Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, passed away, it broke me like I lost a family member. And I know that might sound ridiculous to anybody watching and anybody. No. I still have moments where I hear, the music that the Wyatt Six use now?
Yes.
Which was Bray's final theme.
Yes.
I still, at times, I wouldn't say tear up, but I still get like that emotional twinge.
I have to say, actually, this is an interesting one because, so in work, about a year after I'd started with my current job, we were emptying a newsagent, and we were taking a load of donations out for the charity I work for. And because it had been a working newsagent, but it had been closed for a little while, they had a magazine counter. And on the magazine counter was a very old, well, an older WWE magazine
Oh, wow.
with Bray Wyatt on the cover. So
Wow.
I saw that, and this had been about a little while after Bray's passing, and I got quite emotional randomly seeing that. And I think part of the reason why, you know, Bray affected me maybe definitely more than Hogan, the man was 36.
Yeah, well, that's
And
it.
so,
young.
to the best of him, you know, Hulk Hogan, of course, nobody deserves to go at any stage, really, but we weren't expecting Hulk Hogan to, you know...
He was 71 years old.
He was 71 going on, you know, and from that point of view as well, there was that level of separation, as you say.
Yeah.
Yes, we are that bit older than Ryan, but at the same time, you could also argue that the bulk of Hogan's years had filtered out. He'd had his
He'd had the
time by
career,
then.
yeah.
Having said that, when you mentioned 2002, it's very interesting because one match I was going to bring up earlier, other than King of the Ring, is when Hogan himself won the title from Triple H at Backlash in
Yes.
2002.
Yes.
And that's
Excuse
something... That's something which still stays with me, that was a big deal for me at the time. I was like, good for him.
Yeah.
You know, to get that chance to go, because also I hated Triple H so badly.
Everybody
To see
hated
someone
Triple
take
H
that
then.
title. So
Yeah.
it was, you know, and I will also, somebody watching this video will say, I know what's going on here. You're wearing a Metallica t-shirt because Hogan claimed he was the bass player for Metallica. Hogan
heard that.
claimed,
I heard
Hogan,
that,
Hogan claimed a lot of things, but that's the problem. Hulk Hogan had a tendency, I think, to BS a lot more
He was
than
creative with the
he
truth.
could have just gotten away with being Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. It
And
was
that
big enough,
didn't seem
exactly
to be
what I
good
said.
enough. And I also, by the way, I stand by the fact that Suburban Commando, if you've never seen that, is one of the best movies of
It's
my
older
child.
than him.
It's amazing.
Favorite Hogan movie has been No Holds Barred for me.
Oh, God, I love it.
Talking.
Well,
Me and my dad, right, we watched the film and we never laughed so much, right? And it's the end of the film, we knock Zeus off in the
Into the ring,
in the
yeah,
ring, the ring
yeah, yeah,
explodes, and Hogan, for whatever reason, looks in the camera and just goes, poof. So now around
Yeah,
the
that
house,
weird hand thing
me and my
he
dad
did.
will walk past each other in the house and go, poof.
I love it.
Like, in the house.
the night
so-
the night
Love
that
it.
Hogan died, the night that Hogan passed away, I said to my other half, I said, do you know what I'd love to watch randomly? That episode of Baywatch that Hulk Hogan was in. And so for those who don't know, if you don't know
I
this,
didn't know this, no.
Is that
Steve-
the one with Flair in it
Steve
as
is
well?
about to get a massive shock. Vader, Randy Savage, Hogan, Lex Luger, and at least
my
one other whose
God.
name escapes me at the
Kevin
moment.
Sullivan?
That's right, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin
The
Sullivan.
Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
imagine this: Pamela Anderson, Yasmin Bleeth, a few others have just saved Hogan from drowning. Hogan,
couldn't lift his
Hogan
leg.
wakes up. It takes about 4 or 5 of them to carry him out of the water. Hogan wakes up and goes, "Oh my God, I must be in heaven. These are angels."
Oh my God, I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is the worst acted episode you've ever seen, and not that Baywatch was winning any Tony Awards or
no,
Emmys.
yeah,
it's
It
not.
was appalling, but.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
And then Ric Flair turns up and he gets out of a limo and he's like, "It's me, Hogan. I bought this gym that you're so attached to, and I'm gonna build condos here. But in order to save your gym, you have to face me and Vader in a match on Saturday." And he's
Oh,
like,
hang
"I'll
on.
take you on, brother." You know?
Everybody's playing themselves.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Yeah,
no,
Lex
no.
Luger is not playing some twisted Donald Trump character. He is literally Lex Luger, the condo
oh my
developer.
God, I need to
If
watch
I'm
this.
not mistaken, it was
Yes.
to advertise WCW's Bash of the Beach.
It was 100%.
Oh, was it a
Yeah.
tie-in?
I think
Was
it's
it?
actually
Right, right.
called Bash at the Beach. I think
so,
the
yeah.
episode's name is called that.
I'm gonna have to find that.
believe they
I didn't
filmed it
even
in
know
the
that was
same
a thing.
location.
And I'll
as
tell
well.
you,
Did
ladies
they?
and gentlemen,
Right,
believe so.
right.
I'll tell you how you can watch it for free right now in the UK. There is a thing called Pluto TV.
Yeah, I use Pluto all the
and
time, yeah.
it's every episode of Baywatch is on demand, and you can go on and look up that episode.
You've just ruined my better half's evening because I'm gonna find out when I get home. I'm gonna
so
find out when I
sorry.
get home.
So sorry, you know?
That's fantastic. I didn't even know that was a thing. See, there you go, right? Even me, who is a lifelong Hulk Hogan fan, learning something new. I didn't know he did that.
I'm
crap.
just
Yeah,
gonna keep
yeah.
apologizing to you in
Yeah,
advance
oh,
and
God.
to your other half for having introduced
She'll
you.
be in
to
the
that.
room when I watch it. She'll just- I'll get the obligatory, and I'm going to segue here slightly. I'll get the obligatory. what are you watching?
Yeah.
Because it happens all of the time, because I
Yeah.
watch so much random crap in the house, you know what I mean?
But it's interesting because the start of that episode, so WCW, obviously Savage and Hogan were a part of that. The start of that episode, they're on speedboats, they're racing each other.
Of course, 'cause why
and then,
wouldn't
of
they be?
course, Hogan goes flying off and nearly drowns, and that's how he's rescued.
Are these like the old WCW mini-movies?
In a sense, but
Right.
can I just
With
say
Baywatch
though,
production.
that's right.
Yeah.
But can I just say though, right? And this is the really weird part. Hogan, of course, had a speedboating accident in real life a few years beforehand in the build up to WrestleMania 9.
Did he really?
So do you the
black eye?
The black eye
Is
that
that
was
where that
caused,
came
but it
from?
was a speedboating accident.
okay, I didn't
that
know
was how
that.
that actually happened. Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I always heard the story that Randy Savage laid him out. That was the obviously
No,
the
well,
rumour
the
story.
kayfabe storyline was that IRS had him beaten up in a car park,
Right.
and
Before
that's
the
how
tag match.
that's right,
Yeah,
and that's how
yeah,
they
yeah.
justified it.
Because
But
they
actually,
had a title match,
yeah,
didn't they? Tag title match.
yes,
Brutus Beefcake and Hogan versus Money Inc.
That's
at
right.
Mania 9.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then by the end of the evening, he was champion, because of course he was.
Of course.
Didn't Hulk Hogan in the back of the contract there, didn't he?
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
honestly. But no, I didn't know that. You've both
So
blown
there you
my
go.
mind
There
here,
you
you
go.
know what I mean? Right, leading on from that, obviously we've had, speaking of controversial wrestlers, we've had quite a big return in recent memory of a very tying into what I mentioned
Yeah,
before, controversial wrestler. Brock Lesnar's returned back
Indeed,
to WWE in recent memory.
indeed.
Now, obviously the press release of that has said that he has been 4 weeks or more cleared and removed, ready to come back in terms of the legality. But as far as I was aware, now I may be wrong here, so alleged, please, I haven't got any money, don't sue me. The legal proceedings were still ongoing.
No, the legal proceedings are still ongoing, and I can tell you now, I mean, obviously in May 2025, as of the time of recording, John Laurinaitis settled with Janelle Gray, allegedly.
Right.
And that was an exchange that he would no longer be a named participant.
Right.
Okay.
And he has agreed in future to appear if requested, which he likely will, but he has agreed to give evidence on her behalf.
Right.
Now,
Against Vince.
against Vince, against,
okay. I didn't realize that.
against
I didn't realise that,
WWE as a whole, really, because so Janelle effectively, yes, there's the grievance against Vince personally, but there's also the grievance that her claim is that Vince hired several other people purposely to have intimate relations with her, and then allegedly as well, the claim is that her job was made worse as a direct, and that many people were aware of this.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
this comes back to Brock Lesnar, and the allegation from the court documents, the allegation that Janelle puts forward within her defense is that Vince is alleged to, and she provides alleged proof of these messages, is alleged to have had a conversation with Lesnar trying to renegotiate his contract at the time.
Right.
And part of that renegotiation was that Vince was sending explicit photographs and video of Janelle
Right.
to Brock to try and entice Brock back in and saying, well, if you sign the contract, here's something you could enjoy as a bonus. And Brock is meant to have said, well, that's not for me, that's more your thing, and sure, if I was with her anyway, I would only cripple her effectively yeah. I've had to clean that up a bit,
I
but
get that.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then ultimately
Wow.
leading on from that,
I didn't know any of this.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So
God.
ultimately leading on from that, there is an allegation, probably the most serious connection between Brock Lesnar and, because they never met in person,
Right.
but the connection is that Vince gave Brock Lesnar Janelle's number. Vince then told Janelle Brock will be in contact. Brock then contacted Janelle. Janelle had to send Brock video of her, I believe, send video of her urinating, and to which Brock gave a sort of a derogatory remark on the basis of that. And that was sort of the direct extent. But the whole point of this is that, as far as I'm personally concerned, from what I've read and I've studied some sources, Brock is in no way cleared, but
No.
WWE allowing him back on TV.
They say they've cleared him, yeah.
They say as well, there's no blame here. Don't be ridiculous. He's just an innocent bystander. Yes, he may not have been directly involved in relations with Janelle Gray, but at the same time, he's a human being and an adult. He
Yeah.
could have turned
could
around
have
and
said
went,
that.
this
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
not
He's got a
like
moral
young
compass
guy,
like
he's
No.
old
others.
enough to know better as well.
He is,
To be
absolutely.
fair, like in ring wise, I love Brock, mate. Like
Yes.
in ring
I can't
wise,
dispute that. Yeah,
I
I'll
think
agree
he's
with that.
fantastic. One of the most legit workers you could have ever had in
Agree.
business
Totally agree.
since the 80s. I was talking to this with my tag partner Kendall.
Yes.
When he returned at SummerSlam, they would have had to have WWE legal. Like, don't quote me on this because I don't know too
Sure.
much.
No,
Sure.
same. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
WWE legal would have had to have some insider thing to the case.
You would think.
Yes. You would
Otherwise,
hope.
it's just a
You would
media,
hope, yeah,
media you know,
They would never have let him on television.
fire
Otherwise.
backstorm. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
if
Yes.
they
Yes.
brought him on, and if he had done worse, or
No, they
everything's
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Are true, whatever they're saying. They would have had to have some insight and some reason to clear him.
Indeed.
To let him back on TV.
Well, that's it. They must have gone through with a fine tooth comb
Well,
before he
that's
was
it.
on
With
television.
the Netflix partnership and now the ESPN partnership
too much to
and
lose.
stuff like that. Yes.
And I take on board your point. The only thing I will say to play devil's advocate on that is that part of me wonders whether did they have everything, but at the same time did they consider actually if we don't let Brock come back to fulfill contractual obligation,
Yeah.
the man will sue us. And was it a
Fair
tie-up
enough.
between legal action been taken for him suing for
As
breach
in,
of
yeah,
contract?
as in, would they? Because that's the thing. They would have had to have. They've got to honour what they've.
Yeah, they've got to honour what Vince
Yeah.
has put in place with Brock, and
And yeah,
obviously
he gets
he's given
paid
him,
or
yeah.
he comes back.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. I just think. I know it's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, but this
No,
leads to what I was saying earlier. Back to what I was saying earlier, where we were talking about Hogan, we were talking about Vince.
Yes.
They all bred controversy, and but the irony is, you summed it up lovely there. Brock, still one of the greatest workers there's ever been.
Yeah,
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
and that sums it up. And this leads to, and I'm not going to mention any names, but this leads to other workers who have had controversial and unfortunate things in their past with the names we don't mention. And
So I was saying about, I think it was Brock Lesnar. What was I saying? Brock Lesnar's rookie year, because
Yeah.
you were saying about him being such an amazing performer.
Indeed.
2002, I think his rookie year, because he was the XFL signing. And he was the big sort of Vince McMahon was like, well, this is my justification for the XFL is that we've got Brock Lesnar from it. There is a dark match of him and Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
I knew
That is on YouTube, and
Yeah.
it's well worth watching. If nobody's seen, well worth watching.
Do you know, I
if
never
you
said it
haven't
before when I asked you both who your favourite wrestler was. Anybody who would be interested, my favourite wrestler of all time is Kurt Hennig.
Oh, there
So
you
there
go.
you
Is
go.
it?
Yeah,
Ah.
Mr. Perfect. I never mentioned it.
sweet.
I skipped past it. I let you both answer, and then you mentioned WrestleMania 25, and I completely zoned in on that. But no. Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, my favourite wrestler of all time. The match with Bret Hart at SummerSlam 91. Of which, by the way, if anybody doesn't know this, Hennig was so badly injured going into that match that he had, I think, took 3 years out of the ring. It was due to an insurance payout, admittedly, but because he was paid and couldn't give it back, so they couldn't let him in the ring even when he was cleared. He had I think they were all insured through Lloyd's of London,
Right.
and once you got your Lloyd's of London payout, you couldn't then work for a period of time.
Bloody hell.
And he had hurt his back. I'm sure it was Lloyd's of London. Don't quote me on that. He had hurt his back quite badly. Got his payout, healed, and couldn't come back
Wow.
because he would have had to return the money. So
Amazing.
he ended up. That's why he ended up with Ric Flair.
Wow. Okay.
Where obviously Flair leading
Yes.
at SummerSlam '92,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
better be not fair to Flair, and he was his advisor, which eventually led to a
Yes.
face turn and a tag team match where he was tagging with Macho Man Randy Savage in his all-time worldie gear, which is black with Mr. Perfect and diamonds on the back. Loved it. But yeah, so there you go. Sorry, just a little segue there because with you mentioning Kurt, I loved Kurt Hennig. Absolutely loved Kurt Hennig.
Interesting. Macho Man Randy Savage, of course, one of the one of the great commentators, often forgotten as a
Yeah,
commentator,
absolutely.
of course, when
Following
WWF
Mania
Raw
7.
began.
Yeah.
And although there are other dark recesses of the internet that will tell you there are different reasons for this, one of the few performers who actually got a very public thanks and acknowledgement from Vince
did.
McMahon
Yeah.
before going to join
Live on
WCW.
Well, no, I don't think they went live back then. It
No.
was a pre-record, but the fact that it was a pre-record,
It was a
and
very
they
much
left that in,
an acknowledgement of the fact that he was leaving.
'cause
Many
he didn't want him to leave.
Yeah,
This was the
yeah.
thing, and do you know the sad part about that? He never came back.
No.
Never ever came back, which is so sad. Never got his Hall of Fame induction in person or anything. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those tragic things. And again, as you say, just an unparalleled worker. Do you know the thing I liked about Macho Man Randy Savage? I know he got considerably bigger in later life, but he looked like a big guy who was a high flyer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which
yeah,
is why
yeah.
you believed him as world champion.
Sure.
Because he could compete with the littler guys. He had great matches like Ricky Steamboat, one of the greatest matches of all time. Anybody who's ever seen that for the IC title. But then you believed him against Hogan. Even though he was in a losing effort at Mania 5, you believed him. And you believed him winning the tournament at 4.
No, absolutely.
Because he looked so good. And he was like probably undersized for Vince's, giant machine as it was back then. But at the same time, nobody cared. Nobody was bothered about that. You know, he fit that role and he made that role so good. I mean, another thing, just to say, talking about underrated Macho Man moments, he carried that title for a year.
Yes.
It was Mania to Mania.
Yes.
So on the back of him for an entire year, that company was rested. And obviously, we know they went back to the status quo in the end. Which,
And there's few people who could do that. I mean, there's few people who could do that today.
Nobody.
To be honest.
I don't think. I mean, Roman Reigns is probably the big one. Cody, obviously, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rhodes. I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan. I think Cody is the last true babyface in wrestling. I really do.
Can I spell out an underrated name that carried a company?
Of course.
For Nick Aldis.
Absolutely.
The NWA World
Yes.
Championship carried that for over 1,000 days.
That's right. Yeah, with the
Over 1,000 days
£10.
helped rebuild the NWA, which I thought was fantastic, and probably Nick Aldis probably the best person to do that.
Yeah.
Does he look like a
He looks like a-
day champion?
He looks like a god. He's everything you would.
Absolutely.
If you were to design a champion, you know what I mean, with a physique. I mean, to keep
Yeah.
gesturing, and I don't know this logo may change by the way, but no, to just gesture towards him. Exactly, Nick Aldis was great, absolutely great, and the fact that he doesn't get to work
I know it's
in
very
WWE is exactly
Very upsetting.
yeah, because he's still capable,
Oh,
and he even
absolutely.
says that he's still capable. He's fit, he trains constantly, and he can work like. He would outwork 2/3 of that roster.
Oh, absolutely
Easy.
easily. Like he's such a good worker, and say when people carrying belts on the back of them for a year, carry the company on the back, like he's one of the guys. That can
Absolutely.
Do,
Do you not think it's sad as well that a lot of people watching WWE have never seen him work?
I know.
Or probably haven't seen him work.
I know.
Because a
it's
lot of
sad.
WWE fans, like AEW fans, are very like territorial and militant when it comes to their support, and they don't often cross over. I mean, myself, I'll watch any wrestling that's going, to be honest with you, within reason. But we've spoke off camera, you know what I like and what I don't like. But with AEW fans and WWE fans, a lot of them will not watch the other product, despite the fact that guys they like are on both
of
products.
course.
I mean, look at like Ricochet, for example, currently working in AEW. WWE fans probably look at that and go, "Oh, he's retired."
Yeah.
It's like, no, he hasn't
That's
retired.
it,
He's
yeah.
working, and he's doing some great work as a heel.
Yeah.
Really great work as a heel. And I just think that's very sad.
It is.
You know,
It is. There's a certain elitism to it where there's a lot, as you say, there's a lot of people who won't engage with the likes of AEW or Ring of Honor or wherever, because they'll look at it and go, no. I mean, I remember years ago when I was growing up, so they never had Channel 5 in Ireland. I don't know if that's, so you obviously have Channel 5 in the UK.
Sure.
That never existed in Ireland. But Channel 5, uniquely, of all the things it showed, on a Friday night, they would show about an hour or two of WCW, of World Championship Wrestling. That was actually, at the time, never shown in Ireland on any channel whatsoever. It would have been virtually impossible. So I had an aunt living in Manchester who used to tape episodes and send them over to me and all that. And from my point of view, people in school, I remember there were conversation, what in God's name are you watching WCW for? And it's like, what are you talking about? WCW is amazing, Crowbar and Daphne are going to destroy Raven tonight. And they're like, what are you talking about?
who are these people? Kind of thing. I love that.
But I'll tell you, when the invasion happened, I had the last laugh. Well, I didn't actually. By that point, I should.
There was nobody laughing
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say, no one was laughing at
nobody
that.
was laughing there. I mean, those Time Warner contracts were insanity for that invasion.
And next, we'll have Neil Patrick versus Earl Hebner. And,
that was an actual match, wasn't it? Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever. That
Yeah,
match
yeah,
that
yeah.
nobody asked for.
Nobody asked for,
will
nobody
ever.
wanted, and
Yeah.
I mean the right man won, if there is such a thing. But it's still an absolute. If you wouldn't mind, just for a moment, I'm just going to quickly interrupt. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. You can probably see the signs on the wall there. Valves and Vibes. They're an up and coming motoring company. They do custom motorhomes and cameras. They will fit like full out tent roofs to Land Rover Defenders. They do a fantastic job. Check them out on the internet. They've got a website. Have a look, see, maybe place an order if it's something you want. But yeah, once again, Valves and Vibes.
Amazing.
And modelled by the lovely Ryan Ace there. Thank you. Right, now you actually gave me a little segue before, if you don't mind. I just want to move on briefly. You mentioned SummerSlam. This year's SummerSlam now, for the first time, is a 2-day event. I don't think it needs to be a 2-day event. I think the only one that really needs that is WrestleMania. SummerSlam's a big show, but it's not that big. Don't get me wrong, still a good 2 days of wrestling. Could have been condensed. I think there would have been a couple of matches personally I would have cut, but that's that's for another day. What did you both think of the show? Did you watch it?
I thought it was better than Mania, to be honest
Did you?
with you. Yeah,
I agree.
I much preferred it to WrestleMania.
For all I don't think it needed to be 2 days, I agree with that. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree.
I feel like you didn't need a
The
surprise.
Cena-Cody match was a barnstormer.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a
Much better than
barnstormer.
the first one.
Absolutely. Oh, that Mania match was a car crash.
Aye.
It was a disgrace.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't feel like you needed a surprise at the end of both shows. With Rollins cashing in, spoilers, anyone hasn't seen it. Rollins cashing
Well,
in.
this is going to lead into my next point, so that's
Rollins
perfect.
cashing in one night and Lesnar coming out the night. You didn't need both. You know,
No.
like I would have took the Rollins over the Lesnar thing because I feel like that had more
I would have had Rollins and stopped.
storyline
Yeah,
impact.
agreed.
You didn't need both nights having two different things.
No.
In my opinion. Other than that, I thought both shows were fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I really
Oh,
enjoyed
don't
both
get me
shows.
wrong, it was a great event. I just think it would have been a barnstormer one-night event.
Yeah.
With a couple of matches maybe cut or put
Yeah.
on a pre-show or whatever. What about yourself, Wayne? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch that much of it, and I still haven't, and I probably should
Oh,
watch
it's
more of
definitely
it.
worth going.
I
What
think
Ryan's
it's-
saying is right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still trying to, as I say, I'm still aggrieved by 1999 SmackDown. The McMahon Helmsley era has just begun. I have to be honest, I'm totally addicted too much to that. Mick Foley going in and giving a big speech with all the wrestlers, and then Stephanie walks in trying to learn how to act, and she's like, "Get out of my way, Mick," you know, and it's done very well. But no, SummerSlam, I think, yeah, I agree with you. Definitely a one-day event. I think I'm a bit sort of worried about where things are going in the sense of, so this contract with Saudi Arabia that was signed 10 years ago,
Yeah.
there is talk that maybe the Saudis haven't got the return they expected, partially because of COVID.
They
They've
haven't had their money's worth. basically.
Well, this is what they're kind of saying.
Yeah.
So the argument is, obviously, as we're well aware, the Royal Rumble in January is going to be from Saudi Arabia. That's going to be a first for that. But at the same time, there's also talk of maybe having, and this is the rumor, a second WrestleMania
Yes,
next
I heard
year
that as well.
from Saudi Arabia, headlined by The Rock. Because why not?
Yeah, because, you know.
Well, then they need to make up a title to give him because they can't feed Cody Rhodes.
The Brahma Bull smoking skull title or something. Yeah, why not?
The Dwayne Johnson title.
And but
Dwayne
that's-
the Dwayne Dwayneson.
And that's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I think at one point WWE were looking at Saudi and went, "I know what we'll do. We'll make them feel really special. We'll bring back that pay-per-view we haven't done in 12 years." No, people are shut up. We're gonna bring back WWE King and Queen of the Ring. No, that
that's
didn't
not
go
enough.
down well.
They
no,
want a
no.
Mania. They've wanted
They
a
want a
Mania for
Mania,
years.
yeah.
They have.
So I think if not a Mania, I
Yeah.
think actually a SummerSlam in Saudi. And you know what?
I'd be okay with that.
And it's almost like alliteration of Saudi summer or summer in Saudi or the slammer in Saudi.
Well, they
you know,
call it Riyadh
yeah.
season and all that, don't they? They have all
Yeah.
they have all
Yeah.
that, so they could have all that. You know what I mean? This is the thing. I think a 2-day SummerSlam, despite what I've just said about it not being a 2-day show, in an environment like that would probably be beneficial.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
they'll make tens, if not hundreds of millions. you
Of
know
course
what I
they
mean?
will.
And I mean, obviously, we all know when you strip things back to a cynical level and a financial level, they do these things for exactly that.
Of course they
It's
do,
their bottom
yes.
line at the end
Yeah.
of the day. Exactly, it's a business.
Yeah.
Now, on that basis, talking about SummerSlam
Yes,
and whatnot,
yes.
and you've already mentioned it briefly there, Ryan. Obviously, Seth did the cash in, which we knew was coming. Now, one thing a lot of people didn't know, or perhaps weren't privy to, was the fact that obviously Rollins faked an injury and went a very long way to sell that faked injury. There's videos behind the scenes of, you know, when he was out with his daughter and he's on crutches, you know.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to, because we have quite a unique perspective, and I'm going to absolutely take full advantage of the fact that we have this. As a worker, there's a rumour going around that perhaps they lied to quite a large percentage of the boys and girls backstage. And there's a bit of a bad feeling and a bit of a bad taste about it.
Yeah.
As a worker in wrestling, if someone faked an injury to you to that level, how would you personally feel?
I'd be quite annoyed.
Would you?
I'd be quite annoyed. It's a big thing in wrestling.
Yes.
Injuries, you know, you can have
The trust.
the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, the small. when a wrestler gets injured, it can be something minor, something major. And if they're faking something minor, okay, maybe fair enough. Or if it's a storyline injury,
Well, you see that where they'll pretend they pulled the, and then there's a roll up or whatever.
Or a storyline injury, fair enough. But something as legitimate, like...
And he sold it for like a month.
That's it. And he's got a history with his knee, and,
And it was that knee as
it
well.
was the same knee.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's got a right to be annoyed backstage, the workers, because it's a massive thing. And then it is the trust of the office and the trust of your fellow worker.
Yeah.
Where I could then go to my friend and go, like, I'm hurt, whatever. And they'll be like, all right, no worries, whatever. But then if I found out I was fit and healthy afterwards, they'll be like, well, mate, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's...
I think that's the feeling from what I've been reading is what I've been hearing. And the thing that got me as well, obviously it was a Saturday night's main event, I believe, that they faked the injury, that they did the injury angle. Do you not think it sold that event short for the people who paid to be there?
Absolutely. And do you know who I feel bad for as well? LA Knight.
Yeah, because he was the unfortunate side of it.
It could have been his match.
It was his coming out party, for want of a better term, wasn't it? Yeah.
All that happened. I don't know how they would have conveyed that.
Do you know the way I would get round it? And this is something I was thinking about personally. This is me fantasy booking in my own head, so indulge me for a moment. Bear with me a second. Throat's a little dry, been talking a bit. No, you know how they've been threatening a potential fourth member of this, is it the Vision, I believe this stable's called. Why not make it LA Knight and have him in on it? Make that part of the storyline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As in, the reason Seth let him pin him is because, LA Knight was in on it.
This whole like McMahon moment where he throws the cloak. It was me all the time.
It was me all along. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
why not? Because then it would at least bring a certain level of credibility to that win, because that win's worthless.
Yeah.
On paper, that win is worthless because as far as anybody knew, Seth was hurt, badly hurt, probably going to have to relinquish that case. Not going to be champion. Ruins their number one storyline, because the whole Vision thing is the number one, television moving point as it stands at the minute. And then also it robs the paying crowd of a proper finish to the event, because the rumor was that wasn't even meant to be the finish. The rumor was that Seth was supposed to go over that night, which, as we now know, was absolutely untrue, because that was the finish they had planned.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I think just to add a little bit of credibility and give LA Knight a bit of a rub, as it were, and give him a bit of his swagger back, as it were, make him the fourth man. Have him, say Seth's big title defense against Punk, have LA Knight cost, because there's been tension, rising between Punk and LA Knight. Have a full-on heel turn. Because the thing is, with LA Knight, you won't get booed. It doesn't matter if he's a heel, he won't get booed. He's one of those guys, I think he's immune. I really do. There's not many guys have that immunity from the crowd's hatred. I think he is immune. He would have to go out there. Say again?
It's because he's so entertaining.
Well, that's it.
On his promos, he's going to spit it off.
Well, that's it. And he could come out there and be legitimately horrible to the crowd, and they'll lead it up. I'd love it if he called me names. I'd love that. I'd just be like, yeah, mate, you're right. You know what I mean? But no, that's how I personally would book it. Now, I mean, I don't think they'll do that.
No.
I don't. I think this is, as you say, he's kind of just had to take one for the team there.
Yeah.
As it were, And it's unfortunate.
It's sad. He needs something.
Well, this is it. I think he needs a title run.
He does, absolutely.
I think Wayne and I had spoken in the past. I think he's unfortunate that he exists in a time where Rollins and Reigns and Cena and Cody all exist, because he's 40 odd years old now. He's older than a lot of these guys. He's been around 20 plus years. He was Eli Drake, dummy, in TNA. He was good. He was great, and I just don't see him getting that run. I don't, and that's so tragic for a guy of that caliber, who is undoubtedly going to be in their Hall of Fame one day, to go there with no world title.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, there's many sort of there are a few notable examples in the WWF history, in WCW history maybe to a lesser extent, but there's a good number of examples where there are people who are very qualified, very willing to hold that gold, who should have held more, who didn't get it for one reason or another. And
timing tends to be the big thing.
It does, timing does, but also as Triple H recently said on an episode of Unreal, where he was and I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, a lot of people want to be, if not everyone wants to be that big dog, but there's only so many spaces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I might say, speaking of SummerSlam, and I will say that CM Punk was robbed because I wanted to see him be champion for
we need
longer.
that as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
We need that.
but at
absolutely.
the same time, and I don't know, but CM Punk might feel within himself, I got the opportunity that another could have gotten,
Yeah.
but I got it. So,
He may be of an age as well where maybe he doesn't want to carry that title for long periods of
Yeah.
time because
Yeah.
you know
Well,
Yeah.
you know yourself, you know you've when you work, and this is me speaking as a fan, but when you work you have that sense of expectation
Well,
attached to
absolutely.
you, you know.
Yeah, once you won a belt, it
adds
you're
a
at that
lot.
level. Like you expected to be the face of
Exactly.
whatever. Like
You're carrying whatever that
yeah,
belt
tag-
represents.
If you're a tag champion,
Yeah.
the face of the tag division, you've got to be
Hmm.
the best
Yes.
because you have
Like
been-
the New Day did
Yeah,
for so long.
absolutely
Yeah,
could be entrusted with the belt, and it's a lot of responsibility to put on someone who maybe doesn't want it, but
Yes.
you know, because he got his main event at WrestleMania, which is
Yeah.
all he wanted when he came back. So
Well,
now
you've seen it
maybe-
in the documentary.
Yeah,
he, was,
yeah.
he was made up when he was
Oh,
the
that's
happiest
it, yeah.
you've ever seen the man. But no, I mean, I just, like I say, I feel bad for LA Knight. But at the same time, I'm sure he's well compensated and I'm sure he's
I'm
very
sure he
happy
is.
in his lot.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure he is.
If we could just move on though, gentlemen, I would like to finish with yourself if that's all right, Ryan. I'd like to go through any wrestling stories, funny wrestling stories, or anything story wise from events and matches that you've been involved in you'd like to share with us. I'd love to just end on that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, brilliant. I've got one now as previously talked about on Sunday with Matty Mayhem and Ryan Roode, two fellow wrestlers.
oh, very cool.
Me, Matty Mayhem, Ryan Roode, and my tag partner Kendall were on our way down to York for the show, and on our way to pick Kendall up, me, Matty Mayhem, and Ryan Roode were reminiscing on my first ever wrestling road trip, which was me driving. 2 weeks just past my test.
Oh God!
So, fresh at 18 years old, just passed my test 2 weeks. Driving up to Dumfries to work a show for old British wrestler Blondie Barrett.
All right, okay.
So we did a show up in Dumfries for him. So I met Ryan Roode twice, met Matty Mayhem once beforehand.
And you were stuck in a car with people you didn't know very
and
well.
Damien Black,
Right.
who's one of my good friends who I started with. So we're in the car driving up, and Matty Mayhem goes, "Oh, could we maybe stop for some McDonald's breakfast?" Yeah, absolutely. Drove past one McDonald's. Oh, Ace, you've just missed McDonald's. Oh, no, we'll get the next one, sorry. Completely me oblivious, because I've just passed my test. Drive past 3 more McDonald's. He's good. Mate, you've just drove past some more McDonald's, I want my hash browns. Like, yeah, no, sorry, we'll get the next one. And I got about, I think it was 2 hours into the journey.
Oh dear.
And he just sits and he goes, "Where's my fucking hash brown, Ace?" I'm just going, "Oh, sorry, I don't know where to go." We're in the middle of nowhere, driving through fields and hills in Scotland, don't know where to go. We get to McDonald's eventually. He guns it inside, goes, "You're fucking taking a piss here, it's fucking lunchtime now." I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought he hated me for the longest time. So we did the show. He didn't speak that much. I very much avoided him. On the drive back, he's asleep in the back. They're all falling asleep, and I forgot to put my radio on, so I'm sitting in dead silence in the car on the drive back. We get to approaching Hexham, and then he goes, "Ace, love you," and it goes back to sleep. And it's just like,
Wonderful.
thank you, I think. When I first started wrestling, I was a very shy lad, I hated meeting people. I still do to an extent. I was getting nervous around meeting new people.
A little bit of social anxiety.
Yeah, so I'm like,
One
oh my god, I've
sympathises.
just pissed this guy off who's very well respected in the wrestling circle. I was like, oh no. But I've had some crackers on the road. Like, me and Kendall travel a lot together now, being our team Reform Wrestling. We're politicians.
Yes.
Doing a bit of a spoof on Reform UK.
Love it.
I get announced
Love
as
it.
Nigel Farage's nephew now, so that's quite
Oh,
interesting.
that is
actually.
fantastic.
So we travel a lot together, to different shows, and we always have a good laugh wherever we go. Like, me and him in the car, man, honestly, if we took a camera in the car and filmed, that could be a comedy show in itself. Just me and him just ripping the piss out of each other.
Well, if you'd like, once this is going up on YouTube, I'd be happy to upload some footage for you if you want, as long as you haven't said anything too controversial.
I'll see if I can find
You want to
something.
vet that footage?
There was a really good one as well when you mentioned before when my last show I did for Rise Underground Wrestling.
Yeah.
They've just got this deal with this place in Middlesbrough called Play.
Right.
It was like an arcade bar. So they do their no ring, no rule shows from there now.
Yeah.
First ever time taking a light tube as well, which was fun.
Oh God, yeah. I wouldn't.
From a wrestler Iceman.
Ooh.
It was a deathmatch gauntlet.
Oh, of course.
So it was Angry Butcher, because he's feuding with the promoter Danny, who's doing like a Church of Violence religious gimmick.
Right.
And he was like, oh, if you want to get me, you've got to go through my gauntlet. So he faced a German guy called the Angry Butcher. And he goes, I've not just got God on my side, but the government. He has Reform Wrestling. Smashing light tubes right. And we were like, oh yeah, we'll take one. Yeah, we thought this on the way down there. We'll take one. Yeah, this would be wicked. Yeah. And then, guess at the part, smash light tube over his head. He takes over. We're on our knees.
Ooh.
And I hear, bang! And Kendall has been smashed over the head with a light tube. And I look at him and I go, this is a very stupid thing to do. Why the hell are we doing this? And I see him lifting the light tube over his head. Swings it down, he misses. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. We looked down and realised he had missed. Then, bang!
Oh my
over my
God.
head. And I've still got the suit in my car, and I'll show you guys after recording if you want to take some pictures.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because my suit's covered in blood now, because I rested in my suit.
Oh my God.
And I said to him, on the way drive home, I might get pulled over. I've got a lot of
They're gonna
experience to
think
do.
you've,
Why I've got a bloody suit and a cut forehead in my car.
Oh my God.
But there they did the Love Wrestling Play. Like, I talked to the guy, he was like, I want to name some drinks after wrestlers. What are your guys' gimmicks? Because we were there first. Like, oh, we're Reform Wrestling. So we made a cocktail called Fuck Reform on it. It had a cocktail with the Iceman and the Macho Man and other stuff, and the bottom called Fuck Reform. And I stole the menu, stuck it on. It's on my fridge now at home.
I would absolutely have done the same.
And we've got a video of me, Kendall, and wrestler Marshall Warner. Good mate runs Octane Championship Wrestling down in Mansfield. Shout out to Marshall Warner. He's filming us going, oh, what have we got? We bought the Fuck Reform, which is like a stouty vodka cocktail.
Nice.
We tried it. It was absolutely rank.
On purpose, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing so. It was disgusting. It was the worst drink I've ever drank in my life. And I'm there bleeding from my forehead. He's Kendall. God, if you see him now, he's still got his scar on his forehead.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're back up as time recording this Saturday.
Oh God.
So that'll be fun. But we're just drinking this drink Fuck Reform. We're sitting there going, no, this is rank thing.
Did you finish it at least?
No, we give it to Marshall Warner.
Nice. I like it.
It's your problem now. We just give it a stick going like, there you go, lads.
I'd have been the same. Like, I kind of drink. I know what you mean with anything that I don't
horrid.
like. Can I just ask one last, obviously, quick question if you don't mind? Have you ever suffered any like really serious injuries in your career? Or?
So thankfully, I've only had 3 major ones in 3 years.
Right.
Not 3 years, 8 years. God, you're older than I think I am. Touch wood. So
we'll all do that.
My most recent one, I'll touch on this one, has got less of a story to tell with this one. A couple of years ago, I made my return to Full Tilt Wrestling. Had a match and ended up hurting my neck and my shoulder. So now I've got nerve damage going from top of my neck all the way down to my hand. Wow. I lost feeling in my hand for about a week and feeling in my thumb for about 6 months.
My God.
I took about 3 months out after the initial. Well, I did the injury, took 6 weeks out, and thought I'd break myself in nicely. So I took a weekend of 3 wrestling bookings, to break myself in. I thought, why did I do that? I'm fucking on the first one. I'm just broke the last 2. So I did 3 matches in a row, wrestled until December. Took from January to April out to try and rest up. Still didn't get feeling back in my thumb until the June.
Wow.
That was a very scary one for me. That was the only time I've ever thought like I might not come back from this.
Did you think you might be done?
From losing feeling in my hand, like I lost feeling in my hand. I could still walk and still move. Finished the match. I was fine the next day. It was a bit of neck pain and shoulder. I still get shoulder pain to this day. And I was talking to my granddad, and then I lost feeling in my hand. And went, I'm going to hospital.
Jesus.
Got it sorted out, and it's not right now. Like if I move my head this way, I can still feel the pain like going down here now.
Wow. And do you think there's going to be something that's just going to be there?
Thing, yeah.
Wow,
thing.
right.
I'm just rehabbing at the gym, and have been since.
Understandable, yeah. So you're trying to like strengthen up the area, basically.
That's it. I've got no strength in it at all now, so I'm trying to re-strengthen you. Wow. But when I lost feeling in my hand, I thought, because I didn't know the extent of it at the time, I thought, oh, this is me done. Right. Wow. Thankfully, it wasn't that serious. Well, nerve damage and stuff, but it wasn't like. Yeah. I was never gonna feel paralysed or anything. And the guy I wrestled, God bless his heart, I give him a hard time for a while. We're cool. We're cool now. Right, honestly, we're cool now. I won't say his name because I don't want him to get shit. He's a good guy. He still wrestles now. He's not hurt anyone.
We'll discuss that off camera.
Yeah, but he's but my most well, I'd say my most famous injury I've ever had. It was when I first started. It was about a year in. I loved all the high flying stuff and all the the Hurricane Ranas, and
I saw you wrestle.
as you know, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", you know, so I was doing all the Hurricane Ranas and stuff. And the story I got was we did a seminar with the fellow called Chuck Mambo before the show, and I did a head scissors. This is the most reliable story. Did a head scissors, landed on my head.
Oh my god.
Knocked myself out. I was a bit strange for the show. Got out somehow. Did my match against my coach Adam Christ. Shout out Adam Christ. Don't know how I did the match. He carried me through that because I have no memory at all of the match.
Testament of a
that
good worker
entire
there, though, isn't
weekend.
it? Yeah.
But yeah, turns out I had a minor concussion from that. Wrote off my entire weekend. The best part about it though is I got a good character out of it because I switched to being
I remember
a
this.
generic baby face who the promoter at the time, Big Chris and Paulie C, went, okay, we're going to capitalise on this. We're going to say that the head injury messed you up and we're going to turn you into a psychopath. Are you okay with that? And I'm still a shy nervous going, oh yeah, I'll be a psychopath, Paulie, that's no problem. I don't have to be a psychopath, me, you know.
Who would? Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember doing an interview with yourself, Wayne,
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
It was just after I came back, I think, where it wasn't getting released, I believe, till after I would have turned heel.
Yes. Yes.
So that was the first time I did a psychopath interview was with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you look at me going, well, this is going to be very interesting after you finally do it right. And I was like, it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, I don't, have any issues after the concussion. I do blame the fact that I'm motion sick now off that.
Right?
So-
Do you get that quite regularly?
Yeah,
do
in
you?
the cars, on planes, and on roller coasters.
Oh,
and I
God.
never used to get it. And that's the only thing I could think of it being.
It's got to be something,
It has
hasn't
to
it?
be
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I blame that. But pop a few, I've noticed Surgeon 15 tablets. Been the best thing for motion sickness. 8-hour tablets. Pop a few good old towers on fine. I went on holiday last week and popped a few before the plane. That's perfect.
Wonderful.
But now, touch wood, I haven't had anything other than that.
Good.
seriously.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Say neck, shoulder, head. Apart from that, all right.
I think the fact that you're sitting here now tells us that you
That's
come
it.
through at the other side.
I
That's
think
good,
so,
good.
yeah. I've seen people getting injured in the ring, which scared me more than my own personal injury.
I can imagine, yeah,
So,
yeah.
if we've got time, I've got another story to tell.
By all means, no, please.
It was, I debuted for this company with Kendall, before my wrestling debuted for a company called Firestar Championship Wrestling down in Halifax. And wrestling Mighty Mayhem Ryan Rude. We debuted, had a match, perfect. Next month we're wrestling Mighty Mayhem Ryan Rude for the tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
And in the match, match went fine. Kendall does the Rainmaker, Ripcord Lariat, hit it, and Mighty Mayhem end up flopping down on his shoulder badly. To this day, none of us know what happened. He just had a bad bump landed on his shoulder.
Oh, God.
End up collarbone proper sticking up.
Oh, my
afterwards,
God.
like proper snap of the collarbone. I didn't realise what happened, so he tags me in. And Kendall goes, Terry's a bit hurt. So I'm like, all right, bang! And I'm smacking him, thinking, right, I'm gonna get him out. And then I look down and see the collarbone sticking up, and oh no, he's actually hurt. So then,
Did you think, like, in match hurt, but not real hurt?
I thought he'd winded himself.
Oh, right.
Because I looked at the rough
So you were
bump.
trying to give him time to come back.
Yeah, so I was just giving
yeah.
him a few shots, thinking, okay, I'll let him catch his breath. And I saw his collarbone, was like, oh no, he means like proper
We need to get him out of there
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing,
So
yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
Matty Radisson's heart comes to me and goes, sit on the floor. I'm fucked. Elbows me with his under his shoulder. I just take a bump off the.
Oh my
He tags out. Ryan Rude continued the rest of the match, and we managed to call an audible with it. Got the result we needed. It was a double count.
Did you get to the right finish, though?
It was a
Yeah,
double count
yeah.
anyway, so we
Right,
just did it with
right.
Ryan Rude instead of.
Oh, right,
Mighty
okay,
Mayhem.
okay.
But then afterwards, like seeing his collarbone backstage, that shook me up with my own injury because I'm looking at that going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Well, you get a different perspective seeing someone else
That's
hurt,
it,
don't
and
you?
especially being a mate
yeah.
and all that as well. But it had just been Mighty Mayhem's birthday as well,
Right.
like a week before. So Ryan Rude goes, I've got a cake for him. We'll present the cake after the match, and we're gonna have pints after the show to celebrate Mayhem's birthday. Did a shoulder in. Martin Kirby, saw him, put him in a sling and all that, and we're like, oh, we'll get you to a hospital. And Mighty Mayhem goes, well, no, we can still go for pints if you want.
Sticking the bone sticking out.
Collarbone up
yeah.
here, slinged up in Kendall's nice, I think it was Gucci belt or whatever he was wearing.
God.
I don't think he still hasn't got that back, I don't think. But he's like, we can still have pints, we can still go for pints. It's like, No! Get out!
Did he end up with surgery from that? Did he?
He did. He's now got a metal plate shoulder and I think 6 screws in his shoulder.
Oh my
now.
god! Wow. So it was a very severe injury.
Yeah,
Then.
he was out for about 6 months with that.
Wow. Wow.
Came back. Had his the best. He'll tell you this. I'm not saying anything he doesn't want to tell you. The best part of his injury was we got a good storyline out of it.
Right.
Because then we played on the Reform, because our whole thing with Reform Wrestling is, we're going to make British Wrestling great again, get rid of all the scrap, all the rabble.
I love that.
And of course, my Mayhem Ryan Rude goes Anarchy Inc.
Of course.
So like, we're going to get rid of the anarchy, restore law and order. So
I love that. I love
Matty
that.
just went, run with it. So we ran with it, like, we got rid of one of them. Ryan Rude, we're coming for you next. We built a story about it where we got our comeuppance when Matty Mayhem came back to wrestling. Got our comeuppance and it was quite good. And I just left an open story for us there as well because we bumped the referee. Kendall actually got a 3 count on Ryan Rude, but no referee counted.
Oh.
I got piled row through a table. That was
God.
wicked.
Right.
That was scary. First did a dive that match for the first time since my concussion. Got piled row through a table. Same match, so you know.
Can I ask
playing
you
it safe?
Yeah.
I know we've discussed things off camera, but just obviously for the benefit of the camera.
Of course.
How did it feel taking that dive, taking that kind of like, you know, a dangerous bump for all intents and purposes?
Well, of course, when I first started as a good guy, as a face, I was doing dives, coming off top rope all
but
the
following
time.
the concussion and everything.
Yeah, I
obviously.
decided no more. I'm going to play it as safe as I can.
So you changed your entire style, basically.
Pretty much. I better really come off top rope. A lot of ground games, a lot of holds now. But I felt with the Ryan Rude, the past 2 matches we had in the feud, Ryan Rude dived and we caught him. That was good. I feel like me and Kendall, like we need to.
Did it help who you were in with? Did you feel
Absolutely.
safe based on who you were in with? Yeah.
Matty and Ryan Rude, you know, 2 of my personal closest friends.
Well, that's what I mean. You know them.
So
you trust
I knew
them.
they would. I trust them wholeheartedly. So I thought, if I'm going to do it, this would be the match. I haven't done it since. I might do, but I haven't done it since. I was originally going to go over top rope.
Right,
like,
so you were doing a tope, yeah.
But how it was all positioned, the crowd was very close, and I thought, I don't really want to risk landing on the crowd.
No, that's understandable.
So I thought, I'll go through the ropes, because then I can control.
Would that be, in your mind, the safer option?
Yeah, because then I can see where I'm going, so I have to like...
Yeah.
Because I can just go with my head,
It's
instead
a blind,
of having my body go all over the place. Because I'm quite gangly, you know, I've got long legs, so it'd just be me, like one of my heels hits someone or whatever, you know. So I thought going through the middle rope would be the safest option.
I get that.
But the first time doing it in 7 years, I looked at them, G'd up and went, oh my god, I'm actually doing this. Because I say things when we're planning the match, and I go, this would be a fantastic idea. They'll love it. And I got to the point, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do this. And I thought, I committed now, I'll hit the ropes. I was thinking about just bottling it, then going on the apron and just doing a dive, and that would have been a comedy moment.
Right.
But I was running, I got really fast and went, fuck it. And I just dove through the middle ropes. Proper nervous, really nervous.
Did it go as planned though?
Oh, absolutely. They caught me, I would torpedoing through. They caught me, I ended up on the stage. After they caught me, put me down. But I thought my heart was just going a million miles an hour after that. Because I've never put myself at risk since the concussion. And then with the neck injury and stuff since then, I was like, let's do it. Go for it.
How did you feel backstage afterwards?
Oh, so full of beans.
Were
The
you?
adrenaline from the dive, taking the pile driver. Marty Jones was in the crowd. Marty's watching the match as well, which made me extra bit nervous because I've got a lot of respect for Marty.
I love
But
that.
afterwards, I was full of beans. Honestly, I put that up with my match against Leon Slater as one of my best matches I've had.
Really? Oh, wonderful.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Perfect. Right, just to progress then, Wayne, is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't know. I was watching. This is completely random and totally curveball.
Go for it.
I was watching. WWF used to have an old show called WWF Metal, and what it was that if you didn't have Sky Sports on Sky One on Sunday mornings,
I remember this.
they would play a clip show for about an hour of what
Yeah, I
happened
remember
on
this.
Raw. And it was to entice you to get your parents to buy Sky Sports. But to justify it being an original program, they would have 2 dark matches. And they were always very interesting little matches. One particular one that I encourage people at home to look up when you talk about wrestlers who maybe needed to think before they acted. Yeah. Perry Saturn versus a gentleman named Mike Bell. Okay. Now, Mike Bell was a wrestler who for many years worked little bits and pieces like jobs for hire. Unfortunately, the one story goes that Mike was facing Perry, knew he would never win. It was his job to lose. He was a jobber, so forth. and decided I'm not going to take a loss in front of my home crowd. The other thing was that maybe he just made a legitimate mistake, but made one mistake in the match, and Perry decided not going to take that and decided to hurt him for real.
Beat the shit out of him.
God.
So if you, and in fact, if Terry Runnels, who was Perry's manager at the time, had not been there, they probably reckon that Perry would have acted even worse.
Oh, God.
But then threw Mike Bell at one point into the steel steps, took him out of the ring, and they go through this rigmarole, and at the end of the 3.5 minutes, Perry goes to take a pin, and Mike kicks out after 2.
Yeah.
And you just go, why? You know? And then it continues a bit more, and eventually Sadarin gets the win.
Yeah.
Funny enough, immediately after that, WWF actually invented Sadarin with this moppy idea, where he became fascinated
Yeah,
with the
I
mop.
It was his punishment for
And
that
it
match,
was, this is the alleged, what they didn't probably expect was that it went really well over with
Well, it
fans.
led to that really good rivalry
Yes.
with Raven, didn't
That's
it?
right,
Where he
that's
put up
right.
the wood chipper and all of that.
So if you're interested, and you want to know about what inspired Moppy, but no, in all seriousness, if you're very interested, Perry Sadarin versus Mike Bell, couple of those matches are on YouTube, and it's really funny for me because it'd be stuff like, you know, Pete Gas of the Mean Street Posse versus Joey Fontana, you know, and he'd be standing in the ring like that, and you just go, Joey's not going to win this one. You know, this is for Pete Gas.
Joey's wearing tights that he loaned off someone backstage. They don't fit.
That's it.
He's standing with his mullet, and you think, oh.
But it was WWF metal, and I totally recommend. Totally look it up. There's a couple of stuff. It's not so much on Netflix, but YouTube have a few of them. Yeah, well, worth watching.
I love that.
So,
right, I just want to wrap things up, guys, if you don't mind. Right, just going to address the camera one last time. One last quick sponsor. Valves and Vibes, Motorhomes and Cameras. Check them out online. Maybe book one. Thank you, Wayne, for coming on.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for coming on. Thank you for sharing some stories, some very intimate stories there, obviously about injuries. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Tune in again for the Wrestling Report. I've been Stephen Fairbairn. Thank you very much.